guess I can get us going here. We get awkwardly stare at each other's faces. Just kidding. So hello and welcome to the 2022 Intellectual Property Speaker Series presented by the MIT Technology Licensing Office and MIT Libraries. Today's session is titled Learning Through Doing, MIT TLO Marketing Internship. My name is Robyn, and I will be part of your panelists, and we have Angela Park here as another panelist, and then Hara as our chat moderator today. Angela Park is a class of 2013 graduate of MIT, and she has a Bachelor of Science degree in course 10B, Chemical Biological Engineering. She took gap years working as a research technician before enrolling in the PhD program at Weill Cornell Medical Graduate School in Manhattan, New York. She has decided to transition from a PhD in biochem and molecular biology, to a career in tech transfer. Angela was hired into her current role as a TLA, or a Technology Licensing Associate, with the Life Sciences team directly from the MIT TLO Marketing Internship Program. And I am the TLO's Marketing and Communications Manager, and I oversee the marketing program and help guide interns through this and into hopefully their passion. So welcome, we're glad you're here. And Angela, I'll let you take it away.
Thank you, Robyn, for the kind introduction. I'm very grateful for this opportunity to share what we do at MIT TLO and the amazing internship program that we have. Hopefully through this presentation, I would accomplish two things. One, you would know what tech transfer is and what MIT TLO does. And two, what MIT TLO internship is like and how this internship can help you grow professionally. Whatever career interest you may have, whether it be you want to be a professor, entrepreneur, or lawyer one day, for example, this internship provides a rich opportunity for you to develop skill sets that are transferable to any career. All the while, you help MIT's mission to make the world a better place by bringing MIT's inventions to the general public. TLO stands for Technology Licensing Office, and we are the department at MIT.
Oh dear.
Is and what we do.
There we go. You were paused there for a little bit, Angela. You're back.
Okay, where was I paused?
Last I heard, what we do. Does that help you out?
What stands for
Angela, are you there? Maybe. She is, but she is frozen. Sending us a quick little chat. Angela, maybe turn off your video. Let's see if that works out for us. Yeah, now give it a whirl.
Okay, let me share screen again. Should I keep my video off?
Yeah, let's keep your video off and just do the audio. Thank you so much.
Okay, no problem. All right, so I'll just start over again from this section. So TLO stands for Technology Licensing Office, and we are the department at MIT that specifically does technology transfer. I'm sharing here with you the MIT's mission statement, which helps define what tech transfer is and what we do. Our mission is to move innovations and discoveries from the lab to the marketplace, which is what tech transfer is, for the benefit of the public and to amplify MIT's global impact, which is in line with MIT's mission of making the world a better place. And we do this by cultivating an inclusive environment of scientific and entrepreneurial excellence and bridge connections from MIT's research community to industry and startups by strategically evaluating, protecting, and licensing technology. Interesting fact is that tech transfer was essentially made when the Bayh-Dole Act in 1980 was adopted. Before the act, the US government used to own all the IP rights resulting from the federal funded research. With the adoption of Bayh-Dole Act, universities have control to their inventions. For us, this means that MIT owns inventions that have been made or created by MIT faculty, students, staff, and others if significant MIT funds or facilities were used. When companies want to use, develop, and or modify an MIT's invention, they would need to obtain rights from MIT. Therefore, universities need Tech Transfer Office, which is the TLO at MIT, to manage and facilitate this process. And I just want to highlight that we are very true to our mission about wanting to benefit the public and to amplify MIT's global impact. We do our best to avoid situations where companies would license the technologies but not use them or develop them. We want to make sure that all the MIT technologies licensed get actively put in use and developed for products. So here is what MIT TLO does in more detail. We manage MIT intellectual property, which constitutes receiving and evaluating new invention disclosures. Disclosure meaning sharing of information about your invention. It could be in numerous forms: poster presentations, conferences, publications, and even thesis defense. So it is important that we get invention disclosure so that we can help put legal protections in place so that you don't lose rights to filing patents in the future. We also help evaluate the inventions to see if they can be patented, as not all inventions could be patentable. But if they are deemed patentable, we work with law firms to file patents. Once the technologies are ready to be commercialized and licensed, we also help market them. Sometimes the inventors would choose to do a startup with their inventions, and we would help with the licensing process, as again, MIT, not the inventors, own the invention. Sometimes we would have companies reach out to us expressing an interest to license some of the technologies. And there are cases where we would be the ones to reach out to potential licensees who we think may be interested in these technologies. We also work with MTAs, or material transfer agreement. If you have worked in biology lab, for example, you would know that anytime a lab wants to send or receive cells, bacteria, or plasmids, MTAs have to be put in place. And MIT TLO also deals with NDAs, or non-disclosure agreements, which is an agreement set in place if confidential disclosures have to be made for potential business or research collaborations. In addition to managing MIT IP, we also establish IP terms in sponsored research and collaboration, as we have a significant amount of non-federal sponsored research happening at MIT. We also manage trademarks and use of MIT name. We also assist in open source licensing for softwares. MIT TLO also distributes royalty revenue. As you know, MIT does a lot of collaboration, not only between departments, but also with different institutions. Therefore, we would jointly own some of these inventions with other institutions, and we would have to make sure that they would also get an agreed percentage of royalty if we receive them. In addition to managing and licensing technologies, we also are very active in educating the community about tech transfer, such as the IP sessions that are going on this month. Lastly, we also help problem solve. We have office hours where anyone from MIT can come to ask questions or consult with us. A licensing officer or associate would be readily available at these office hours. So here's a snapshot of how we did in 2021 fiscal year. We had about 730 invention disclosures, 316 new US patent applications filed, 435 US patents issued, about 140 licenses and options executed, and about 25 startups formed, which amounts to a total of about 530 startup companies launched and 3,000 license agreements executed, and close to 22,000 disclosures received to date. To provide context, very few tech transfer offices have about 700 to 800 invention disclosures. Small university tech transfer offices can have about 20 invention disclosures per year. Therefore, I don't think it's far-fetched to say that MIT TLO is one of the best and leading tech transfer office in the world. We also have rich infrastructure and resources in place to push MIT's inventions out into the real world and help commercialize the technologies and form companies. As you can imagine, with the amount of invention disclosures we receive, MIT TLO is busy all year long. And thankfully, we have an incredibly talented and knowledgeable team who does excellent work in this fast-paced working environment. So I'd like to introduce the team. Currently, there are about 60 people at the TLO, and we are organized into 8 groups. We have the compliance operations group, who ensures that what we do meets the obligation and agreement with the federal and non-federal sponsors. We have the patent admin group, who works with the law firms. We have the licensing group, where half the team works on life science cases and the other on physical science cases. We have the financial operations group, who takes care of billing and dispersing money. We have the communications group, which comprises of Robyn and Hara, and the marketing team, who helps market the TLO. We have the admin group, who handles documents and filings. We have a separate team for trademark and use of name. And lastly, we have our own IT team. Here's a picture of the team before COVID. As you can tell from no masks and lack of social distancing, we are very much looking forward to the day when we can all come together to get another group photo. But this photo would have to do for now. Now that I went into a lengthy detail about what goes on at MIT TLO and what we do, here's how you can get involved at MIT TLO and what you can get out of the internship. First, if you're looking to improve your communication skills, how to communicate science to lay audience, and how to communicate science to lay audience and how to write, why people should care about what the technology is. I guarantee you'll learn so much because this is what you'll be essentially doing most of the time as a marketing intern. Next, whether you have a clear idea of what career path you want to take or you are still uncertain, you'll get a chance to learn about different careers because, as I've described the team at TLO, we have incredibly diverse group of people from different professions and backgrounds, and they are all very friendly people to talk to. Next, you'll gain valuable interactions with TLO professional staff. All the licensing officers have a wide breadth of knowledge and expertise in licensing. Licensing requires fluency in science, business, and law. It also requires knowing how to negotiate, which is an art itself that requires much practice and experience. Additionally, by interning, you will gain unique exposure and perspectives on MIT technologies through meetings and conversations. Lastly, you'll be immersing yourself in science, business, entrepreneurship, marketing, and IP. As I've mentioned before, licensing technologies require knowledge in all these disciplines. Now, let me go in more detail of what a week in the life of a TLO intern looks like. I've shown you this image before, the technology transfer life cycle. And we are specifically working in the marketing phase of the tech transfer life cycle, where we are actively promoting ready-to-license technologies to attract potential licensees. Major responsibilities include generating non-confidential marketing briefs, developing marketing analysis report, writing social media snippets of non-confidential marketing briefs. We are active on Twitter and Facebook, and also working on other special projects as needed. For example, when I worked as a marketing intern, I worked with Robyn in assessing how other tech transfer offices use their social media platforms to market their department, their inventors, and their inventions. As an intern, you can attend these meetings. We have a weekly TLO team meeting where we talk about general admin stuff and sometimes have tech talks where licensing officers present on a topic of their interest. Sometimes it could be about a recent negotiation that they did or a process about how they helped start up a company. Basically, in these meetings, you can learn about how the MIT TLO department runs. You can also attend the weekly case meetings where we share new invention disclosures we received. This meeting is a great place to learn about the newest inventions that are happening across campus. Additionally, there are the weekly intern meetings where you will meet with the other interns and Robyn and Hara and share your progress and problems if you run into any. This is a great place to learn by listening to what others are doing as everyone works on different cases. Lastly, there are the TLOU workshops where we internally give presentations on topics that will be helpful to the whole office. For example, we had a workshop recently about a venture capital partner firm that we partner with. We have videos and workshops for additional trainings on IP and licensing if you are interested in learning more about it. By nature of the work you'll be doing, you'll interact with the TLO professional staff and attend meetings with the inventors. Each intern will have a unique experience as they work on different cases and work with different licensing officers who have their own working styles and know-hows. But this, in general, is the general workflow of a marketing intern. So we start with the case assignment, where the officers usually provide a list of cases that need to be marketed, and we can choose what interests us based on the title of the case or the lab the inventions came out from. Or we sometimes get assigned to a case if a licensing officer reaches out to Robyn that needs to be urgently marketed. We then meet with TLO, TLA. Some interns have regular weekly or bi-weekly meetings set up with licensing officers. For me, I set up a meeting with the officer as needed before I started writing tech briefs to hear the background of the case. And I found this really helpful because sometimes the officers will know what market and companies they like to commercialize the technologies. And they will also tell you what patent stage the technology is in and are more than happy to tell you about the patent strategy and what it means in terms of how much time we have to market and what happens if we don't find a potential licensee. Sometimes the officers wouldn't know these information and will set up meetings with the inventors. They could be faculty members, postdocs, and or students, where most of the time you're welcome to sit in if you ask. After the meetings, I'll get documents pertinent to the case. Usually they are patent applications, publications, sometimes presentation slides from a conference. I'll do the research to understand the technology and the market, and then start drafting the market summaries, which we call them tech briefs. Next, we will also work on marketing analysis reports and help find potential licensees, which I'll explain further after I tell you more about the tech brief. So the tech briefs are marketing summaries that we post on our website. It's at tlo.mit.edu. with the intention of advertising ready-to-license technologies. You can find them in the View Technology section in our website. And here's an example of what the tech brief looks like. Basically, you condense 60 plus pages of patent applications and published papers. Usually there's one or two, and write a summary on them. And you write specifically about the potential applications of the technology, the problems addressed, why does it matter, and a brief description about the technology and the advantages of using this technology or method. We also include 2 to 3 key images. They could be data or schematics that help illustrate the technology. In general, the timing of when and how you can complete the tech brief depends on many factors. Sometimes it may take longer than you like to schedule meetings with the officer or the inventors. Sometimes the case may have a lot of documents, or you may not be familiar with the technology, so you need more time to research to understand it. In general, though, I think I was able to finish one tech brief each week. In addition to writing tech briefs, we do market analysis and finding of potential licensees. I personally haven't done so much market analysis reports myself. I know other interns did, and again, it depends on the preference of the licensing officers you work with. But I did perform unofficial secondary research where I looked at the market and found potential companies whom we can reach out to and find their contacts. Afterwards, I sometimes helped with drafting emails to send to the company. And this was a really good exercise because I learned some tricks and tips on how to cold call through emails. The internship is being done fully remote due to COVID, but it doesn't stop us from having fun. One of the best parts about my internship was working with the people. Robyn is an excellent mentor and supervisor, and Hara is a great colleague to work with. So we had a very collegial, warm, and supportive marketing team, and Robyn was really good at fostering this spirit. We were encouraged to share ideas and give honest feedback. Hence, I think without a doubt, everyone can say that we had a very productive team and everyone has such a good time. So I strongly invite you to apply if you have remotely an interest. Like all the internship, it depends on how much you make out of it, but hopefully I convinced you that this internship has a lot of good resources and opportunities that you can tap into. So now I'll pass on the floor to Robyn, who will tell you more about the logistics of the internship program.
Wonderful. Excuse me. Thank you so much, Angela. Appreciate it. I appreciate specifically your overview of the internship program. I thought it was well done. So we are looking for a few specific qualifications here for our interns to complete the task at the level we expect. We are looking for 5 specific qualifications. And the first one is an excellent written and oral communication skill, or the mastery of the English language. That's going to be pretty important. And then the second is a strong scientific or technical background. It could be in biosciences or the physical sciences. We're also looking for a demonstrated interest in technology transfer. And for that, show us if you have any pre-existing knowledge. Maybe you've participated in technology transfer or intellectual property groups or meetings or programs or seminars. Show and kind of tell us about that. And then we're looking for an ability to research complex scientific concepts in a variety of different fields, even outside of the ones that you might have a strong scientific background in. And then, of course, the self-motivated element and an eagerness to learn. And I think almost above all else, we're seeking someone who is competent in their field, yet teachable, and has that eagerness to learn with the self-motivation. And then secondly, the candidate eligibility. For those interested in our internship, we require 4 elements. The first one is you must be an undergrad, master's, PhD student, or postdoc. There are some specific qualifications or elements that are needed if you are an MIT PhD or postdoc. You do need to obtain permission from your PI. We do require you to be a US citizen or a permanent resident. We ask for a commitment and availability to work 10 hours per week during the spring and fall semesters. And then again, a background in life sciences, physical sciences, or business development discipline. Some of the program logistics that we have, we do offer a few different terms. We have a spring, summer, and fall 3-month term and or an academic year internship. So that's between 9 to 12 months. We do seek individuals, like I mentioned, that can offer 10 hours a week minimum. That is the minimum. If you can't do that, I'm sorry, this internship isn't for you. During the summer, you can work up to 40 hours per week. This is, of course, driven by business needs. And the academic year, up to 20 hours per week. Our internship is remote, and 60% of the work must be performed during our TLO business hours, which are Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5:30 p.m. And then again, just a reiteration, if you are an MIT grad student or postdoc, you must get your PI approval to apply. And then there are a few additional opportunities that Angela briefly touched upon, but there are communication and marketing elements, from social media to news writing to maybe graphic design. So if you are interested in some of those, or you have experience with program optimization like systems or program processes, highlight that on your application. We'd love to read that and see that you have that experience. So our application process is a 3-step process. The first one, we ask you to submit your application form, and that includes your most current resume and a professional writing sample. We do recommend keeping your writing sample topic in the area of your scientific experience. And for this, we'll be looking for proper grammar and your mastery of the English language. And then second, if you receive an interview invitation, the first round will be an interview with the communications and marketing manager, where I will ask you to speak about your previous experience, your work style, your self-management, and why you're interested in technology transfer. And then the second round is actually the 3rd step, where we will ask you to sign an NDA and produce a tech brief writing sample. And Angela briefly touched on this, that the tech brief is what's up on our website, so you can see those examples online as well. So once these 3 steps are completed, we will process the writing test and let you know within 3 weeks of your submission if you've been offered a position with the MIT Marketing Intern team. And I have here when the applications are due for each of those terms. So we would love for you to apply. We welcome you to apply. We are looking to fill 2 spots right now in our internship program. And Angela, I believe the next slide has our link and QR code on it if someone would like to apply while they are on this. But also we are here to answer any questions that you might have, both Angela and I. So feel free to use the Q&A section on Zoom here to ask us any questions. And while we wait for some of those, and Hara, keep it a running track on the Q&A. Angela, talk a little bit more about your experience and what you found to be one of the greatest things about it. If you're there. Are you there, Angela?
Yes. Sorry. Could you repeat the question, please?
Absolutely. What did you love about interning at the TLO?
I mentioned earlier, I think first and foremost, it was the people and the culture. It's just a place where there's a lot of resources available and everyone is very knowledgeable and very experienced, especially the licensing officers, and they're very approachable. So if you have any questions, you're always welcome to reach out to them, and they would always find a way to find some time in their busy schedule to put you in and talk to you about their experiences. And also in general, if I had any questions, whether it was about like patents or about how they reach out and figure out, what companies would be a good candidates to reach out to commercialize these technologies, all these know-hows. So I thought that was one of the most fun part and valuable part of my experience.
How has it shaped the direction that you'd like to take your career?
So I did my internship, and then during my internship, I came to a couple of realizations. First of all, it's a hands-on experience. So I got to personally experience and learn more about myself and where my interest lies. And so initially I was interested in doing this internship program for a number of different reasons. Like I mentioned in the presentation earlier, I was interested in improving my communication skills because I thought that skill sets would be highly transferable to whatever career path I might end up going. And also not just the communication skills, but I was always in academia for all my life. And so I felt like I wanted to find an opportunity where I can hone more of my knowledge in finance and build more business acumen. And so I thought this was a great opportunity where I can bring that, have that more exposure. And lastly, I was in sciences and engineering for since undergrad. And so I love that aspect of trying to see how that can be applied into policies. And so at TLO, you are exposed to that side of that discipline as well. And so I thought it was a great position where I can develop these skill sets.
Wonderful. Thank you for those answers, Angela. Hara, do we have any questions that we need to answer?
We do have one from Hannah that I don't feel qualified to answer on the Q&A section.
Wonderful.
So I see the question. It says, how is technology marketability evaluated through the use of software programs, etc.? are TRLs used, which I think stands for technology readiness levels.
That's correct, Angela.
Okay. In general, there's like a lot of different ways to go about this. There's no hard rule about what's the right way to evaluate a technology market. So for me personally, like I mentioned, we have a formal template to make a marketing analysis report. But in my case, I just did a lot of secondary research. So I pulled up a lot of analyst reports, basically. And if you go to MIT libraries, we have a business section, and we have a lot of resources where you can get these reports. And so I would take advantage of that, go through some of the reports, and then they usually have a nice summary about in what ways like your technology can be applied, and in what markets are currently thriving. And they also give like a list of companies where the analysts have chosen, basically. And then I would go through them and make sure that it matches with the current, basically, that's like the first step. And then what I would do is I would look through the list of companies that the reports have generated. And then I will look into more of like each of the companies, see how big they are, what stage they are in. Are they a very small company still in the startup phase, or are they bigger and more established? And then it would depend on what technology we're trying to commercialize, and whether the companies would be in a good position to adopt these technologies.
Yeah, I'm going to bounce off you a little bit, Angela, here. Hannah, that was a great question. And it shows that you know a little bit about tech transfer if you're using the acronym TLR. So technology readiness level, most of MIT technology is in the range of, I think, 1 to 4. So we are very early stage here at MIT. Because of that, it means that we lean on our technology licensing officers fairly heavily for their experience. And I think that's what Angela is alluding to. There's no real clear-cut rule or guideline that our officers are following. And of course, I am not able to speak on many of the details about it because I am not a technology licensing officer, but I know that we do hire for their experience in the different sectors so that they can analyze and more appropriately evaluate the marketability of them. So great question. Hope that helps answer. Apply to the internship program and you will learn more.